Well, hello, creatives, community, and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ, and thank you, all of you who uh, have been a part of this channel for so long. Thank you so much. Uh, there's been some. Allow me the to give you a preamble before we get into our week of House of the Dragon. We've taken opportunities on this channel to look at pop culture. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I will definitely get into that. We've taken opportunity on this channel to look at pop culture and transform it, use it as like mind fuel, basically, inspiration for our tabletop role playing experiences. And I really haven't taken opportunity to do that with this this iteration of House of the Dragon, so I thought I would do that. And so we're going to take characters, look at those character concepts, archetypes, and use them for tabletop role playing, whether we want to make allies, adversaries, enemies of those characters. But on a personal note, my wife did go into the hospital. She's there now, and went there last week and will be there for the next 3 or 4 days. She's okay. Had kidney failure, had stroke-like symptoms and such. Both myself and my wife are diabetic, and but she's doing very well now. It's just a matter of monitoring. She's back to her old self. Come to find out that we discovered that she was being over medicated for diabetic side effects, and so yeah, build up of medicine in the system, shut down her kidneys, and then it's just one thing led to another. So she's got. As a matter of fact, when the show ends, I will not be going to work. I will be going to the hospital. Actually, I'll be making breakfast here and getting some things together and going back. So I've been spending I don't know, most of the day with her, from I don't know, maybe 10 to 14 hours at the hospital. So I earn here in the States, there aren't too many things that people can earn. I've got well over 2,400 hours of leave, so I'm going to use part of that I've been saving over the last 32 years, because that's what I do. Oh, thank you very much, Drew. Thank you. I definitely will. Thank you. Thanks for the well wishes. I will definitely tell her that. So, good morning, prayers, the best wishes to you and your wife. Yeah, it was pretty surprising. It's not the kind of thing that was gradual. It just happened. I literally want to say overnight. It happened about 1 in the morning. I was like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, I've got here as an unlikely individual here in the States, I have a ton of leave, we call it sick leave and annual leave. We don't call it PTO, which is known as personal time off. And I've got great benefits from my job that I earn from my job. So those combined together, as well as the fact that I'm very detail oriented when it comes to like hospitalization and medical things and such. So yeah, that's what it was. It was a whole thing. And she encouraged me. She's the one that encouraged me to like go back home, get everything done. I've got pets as well. Cats, have to feed them and water them and such. She's like, go back to your channel. You don't have to shut everything down. Because I was just like, listen, I could just put this on pause. And then she's like, no, you don't want to do that. So she's actually encouraged me. She said, no, you go ahead and go back and do that. I'll see you tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing. And the hospital's like less than 10 minutes away or something. And it's like 10 minutes away and a nearly straight shot from my house to get to the hospital too. So good thing. Okay. We're going to talk about Daemon Targaryen. Actually, let's get an image up here. I hadn't really thought about that. We're going to talk about Daemon Targaryen and House of the Dragon. Now, we're not going to give spoilers away of the show. Rather, we are going to talk about the character concept himself and use that to I've got okay, not just the it's yeah, you made it. Yeah. Oh man. Yes, she is amazing. Yes. Yes, we were having a movie night the other night and such. And of course, the nursing staff was coming in and out, poking and prodding and that kind of thing. She had one round of dialysis to get the medication out of herself because she wasn't. Anyway, it goes into other details about urination, and they measure it, and they have the Tesla and that and stuff. Yeah, that's how they found it out. She was being over medicated. We are in a over medication type society now. Like, oh, you've got a problem, tack on another prescription, and yeah, not a good thing. So Matt Smith plays. Let's get a good image here. He plays Daemon Targaryen, and of course the one of the traits the Targaryens have is this bone white hair. In the show, sometimes it vacillates between a platinum blonde to a silver, but essentially they've been known to from near birth to have this bone white hair. Very much, I feel like George R.R. Martin is pulling very much from mythology and fairy tales in terms of making the Targaryens feel very elven-like in his world. Although they, minus the pointy ears and such, they are given to rumors of having dragon blood in their system. And many of them have a legacy of being able to bond with dragons when they hatch from the eggs. And there's a whole, if this week proceeds well, then we may go into how do they bond with the dragons, where does that come into? But essentially, this character is born of nobility. The Targaryen bloodline is considered nobility primarily because they've got friggin' badass dragons. Were they born to rule? That remains to be seen. But are they rulers? Of course, because they have dragons. And Daemon's got a pretty badass dragon, Syraxis. I'm butchering the name, I'm sure. A big, bright red dragon, more snake-like, with a long neck, almost a mutated style dragon. And Daemon's personality is the actor places some body language on this character that's pretty hilarious. He has this iconic lean. He does this thing where he grins and smiles in the background when there's a lot of chaos. And when things are normal, he's chaotic. When things are chaotic, he sits in the background and kind of acts like the normal person. And he does the thing where he kind of holds his hands together and he leans against, like, to one side or another, or leans against a wall or a table or whatever. Very nonchalant. A bit, it feels a bit modern era thrown into this archaic world, and I love it. It's really good. It's really good. And I would say that this character's personality, oh man, thank you. Coming from up north, oh, thank you so much. It's best regards to the wife. The Real Michigan News sends its best wishes for a speedy recovery. Well, thank you. Yeah, and Drew makes a point that they also have purple eye color in the books. They do. And mind you, in the television show, there are some physical differences as portrayed by the actors. The actress that plays Rhaenys, and her dragon was Meleys. There was a hugely dramatic thing that happened last episode in terms of a dragon fight, and she was portrayed as having like a raven black hair. Also, in the books, they don't describe any of the Targaryens as having like black African American Africanized features, darker skin and facial features and such. They include it in the show, and there's a reveal. Um, there's a bit of a reveal in the first episode, first season, that details why it was important for them to cast the characters like that. And I know a number of people are like, that doesn't make any sense, and they go, oh, I get it now. And it was a visual representation of a thing that's in people's faces that they were ignoring. Drew says, I still have not watched any of House of Dragon. Oh man, currently only watching The Boys and Acolyte. I think both will have the season finale this week. I believe so too. I believe they do as well. Yeah, the books call their hair color silver white. I think for characterization in the show, I think they vacillate the colors a little, quite a bit, between like a platinum blonde and a silver. I believe there's even one character that has. You're led to believe that they are prematurely gray, but the character thinks he's part of the Targaryens. But Matt Smith does a great job portraying this character, and one of the notable personality traits of this character is that you have yourself your common folk, your people from Flea Bottom, and they are your average citizens, and then of course you have the nobility, and Daemon is a dragon through and through. The rules of how the rules of interaction, the rules of courts, the rules of etiquette, he completely ignores and gets frustrated that there are these rules in the first place. He's a dragon through and through and feels like the rules don't apply to him. Whenever there's rules about how people should act and come across to each other, he cuts through all that bullshit with a knife. And his portrayal of this character is, from my point of view, is that he's not human. He's not lesser man, he's not nobility, he's above even that. He's a dragon, and dragons get to do whatever they want. And Daemon is very much ruled by his passions. If he feels it, he's pretty much going to go with it. And he, in the televised version of this, there are moments where you see him trying to really tap down his emotional center, but he lets it go. And there's a description of him in the books that details that he is as brave and honorable and skilled as much as he is a horror. So he's a sadist, and he is impassioned. He's brutalistic. He gives zero shits about ethics and morality. He's a dragon through and through. But at the same time, if he's on your side, he is a person who is, I won't say loyal, but if he's pointed at an enemy and you're on his side, your enemies will fall like a sharp blade to wheat. And he's an extremely charismatic character, both as an actor, and Daemon Targaryen is known throughout the lands as this the ladies love him and the guys want to be him, and he makes it known. Now, one of the things about making this character, because I'm trying to describe him without describing specific acts in the show, so I don't give away any big spoilers, because he does perform a number of great acts in the show that are pretty amazing. And as a character, he has family members that are in the nobility, and he chafes at the reins because he wants to let them know, like, you don't need to follow the rules. You are a dragon, and dragons don't ask permission. They don't follow the rules. They don't have to kowtow to the lower folk. It's us and them. and it's pretty amazing. Let me see if I can find one of his famous leans. Matter of fact, I'm even going to search for it. There. Okay. Yeah, he's got a famous lean. Here he is leaning and grinning, and then of course, uh, we've got him on the throne. He's on the throne and he's leaning to the side. There's a moment where he gets a message. He's oh, there it is. There we go. There's a moment where he gets a message from while he's at a battle from his brother, and he's leaning. There's a pretty epic. He doesn't take the news kindly. He's also a second son, and while the show doesn't necessarily point out all of the differences, George R.R. Martin loves his second sons, second borns, and there is a great story. There's just almost a buildup of energy and drama with second sons, with second born characters, and it's because had their relative, their sibling, been born, not been born, they would have had these great accolades. They would have been born in nobility, and that's it. But second sons are not often groomed for leadership because the firstborn is the one that will take the reins, the throne, and the secondborn are often ignored. Sometimes they have idle lives and don't know what to do with themselves. Some secondborn are being groomed for leadership, and they realize, well, I'll never be in the leadership. I mean, why are you grooming me? And so there's a lot of drama when it comes to second sons, and he is one of those characters. So let's get into the tabletop role-playing part of this. In terms of a character, if you want to, let's go to fantasy tabletop D20 or something, he's definitely got chaotic characteristics. We can argue whether he's more a chaotic neutral type of character, or chaotic evil, or chaotic good, but definitely he's a chaos instigator, if nothing else. Takes pride in that fact, and loves every minute of it. Also, if you want to add to this within the world of Game of Thrones, the Targaryens are very much known for having strange and particular bonding and marital traditions. In incestuousness of different types and family members is not uncommon, probably because of maintaining the bloodlines, because that maintaining the dragon blood within them allows them to bond even greater with the dragons. I'm sure in the past that's where it's come from. In the modern era, air quotes modern era of within the Game of Thrones world, it's an accepted practice that the Targaryens are able to sidestep the rules of marriage. And so, yes, Daemon Targaryen currently is married to his niece. There's also marriage amongst siblings and things of that nature. So, yeah, very, very incestuous, part of their culture. They're able to, like I said, sidestep the rules of regular humanity, and it makes them seem even more divine to the common folk. Now, in terms of a character having these kind of traditions, it would be very easy to make this character a bad guy, especially someone who skirts the rules, ignores tradition. But let's be honest, players love being the ones who ignore tradition. Players love bringing our modern sensibilities into a fantasy world, and this character as an ally. So let's start with an ally. This character very much is an ally, especially given his grin, given his penchant for wanting to lean to the side and grin in the background as chaos ensues amongst the nobility or merchants or guilds or what have you, and maybe even having the smirk, the slow clap in the background congratulating our player characters very much could easily be an ally. His problem as an ally is that because he's ruled by his emotions, that he's prone to outbursts, to coming and going as he pleases. And in the beginning, that would be very fun for, as an ally, for this character to show up randomly or disappear for days, weeks, months on end in time in your game. And you really don't want to make him a Deus Ex Machina, but could show up randomly to be a quest giver, to need help, to get the character's attention in a matter, especially if it requires them, with players being outsiders from the rules of society. And if the player characters are ones who are really very willing to circumvent those rules, Daemon Targaryen is very much that kind of character. Now, of course, he's a dragon rider, and within your fantasy realm, whether you have dragon riders or not, you don't need to, but he definitely would have some access to whatever power you have in your world. He's definitely a what's a good descriptor? He's a character in a fantasy realm that has a little bit of everything. He has great charisma, physical prowess, great swordsman, access to a great magical power. So definitely some kind of, if you want to be more specific, definitely like a hex blade, sword singer type of character who is both expert at martial ability and some kind of access to magical power. If that magical power isn't something internal, like literally casting spells, he would have access to definitely putting this character on the back of a great magical mount, or has a elemental power he can summon, or is befriended by a fey creature or ghosts of ancestors or something like that, to give this character an even greater edge than other people, and let it be known that he's got a greater power above other people. This is the type of character to give it to. And again, as an ally, seeing, maybe even watching the player characters and what they do, and congratulating their efforts. This character is the kind of person that loves to roll the dice, loves to be the monkey wrench, and would make a great ally. Oh, food. The End King says second sons and daughters are the ones who have more freedom in medieval society. In many ways, I think that even applies today in a weird way. And what I mean by that is, take a look at any famous individuals that have children, politicians, musicians, actors, actresses, sports entertainment, anything like that, and take a look at their children. And many times what will happen is sometimes their firstborn or whatever will rise to the occasion. So, for example, LeBron James is a world-class basketball athlete whose son, Bronny, he's now playing on the same team, and he's playing with his son. And we see this with actors, like I said before, politicians, whatever. And one of their children rises up and gains attention. And invariably, this person may have more children, and their second, third, fourth down the line doesn't get as much attention. But also, like you said, they have a bit more freedom. And I think the freedom is a curse. George R.R. Martin makes a point of making that freedom a curse, because in medieval society, very often, those individuals chafe at the bit because they are put in categories. You're born to be this thing, and that's what you're going to be. Hey, your parent was a blacksmith. You're going to be a blacksmith, whether you like it or not. And so the people who are in these chains of behavior are like, oh, I hate it. But the ones that have the freedom, second sons and daughters, you are correct, have a lot of freedom, and that freedom means that they don't fit into. not only do they not fit into society, the rest of society is like, we don't know where you fit, so please go away. And they become a little bit useless, and they have to carve their way into society. And so there's a lot of drama to be had, because some people will say, there will be people speaking in their ears like, hey, listen, if you commit kinslaying, side note, I wish this was something that they reinforced to us as the consumer, the viewer, in House of the Dragon, and that is called kinslaying. So in House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, it is considered a great sin, no matter how much murder killing we see, that you will be cursed if you kill one of your own blood, your kin. And it is looked, especially if you do that with your own hand, Shinobi. Yeah, more of a tool than a person. You are correct. Both iterations of tools, right? So sometimes they are a tool, like a hammer or a wrench, right? And sometimes they're a tool because they're assholes, and sometimes both at the same time, right? And there's lots of people who speak in the ears of secondborns to go, I can help get rid of the firstborn, or complicate the lives of the firstborn to make you rise in stature or power, or sure, you're not a king or a queen, but you are a prince, and if you come down to the south, far away from your family, we can make you have your own kingdom of sorts. Yeah, you're laughing at me. Yeah, absolutely. You get credit for that one. It says, Drew says, I'm sorry. Until the first one croaks, because medieval life is cheap. Yeah, that side note, something George R.R. Martin also plays with, which I think is something we often don't incorporate in our fantasy world building, and that's random bullshit. Like, in his, to Martin's credit, because listen, he's got that side of him that's very much pervert, okay? Lots of sexploitation and all and stuff like that. It's a lot of that. But another part he throws in is random. And when I say random, I'm talking like a noble person that falls off a horse and breaks their neck. A person chokes on a bone and dies. A person goes into a coma after having a rock hit them on the head. Someone gets a disease. Like, oftentimes in our fantasy, we tend to not include random things that happen to random people in the random course of their lives, whether it is diseases, injury, getting lost, that the nobility are no more immune to the random roll of the dice of life, being lost in a storm, drowning in a flood, being stomped to death in a stable, things of that nature. And that happens a lot in he uses that as a story element in to compare and contrast some characters. For example, he'll have a character that lives a long time with a horrible body-eating, flesh-eating disease and lives an extremely long time, while other people are dying from the inside. They are more of a disease than anything around them. And so George R.R. Martin will do these compare and contrasting with certain characters, where some characters will suffer horribly their entire lives because of an injury or something like that. Some character will be known for an injury, getting an eye put out, a club foot or something. Even does medieval parallels with real life afflictions versus medieval things like epilepsy and neurodivergence, and how people in the past looked at those things as both, and sometimes simultaneously, as blessings and curses, and we'll incorporate that. And to have, in movies and television, there's Save the Cat, Kick the Dog, right? Where they use shorthand for us to to get empathy for a character for good or bad. So saving the cat is a character that is nice, and they do something or act in a way that we tend to like that character, and we see through their dark tendencies because we like that character. Then we have the kick the dog moment where, oh, that character seems nice, but they do something that cannot be forgiven. And when they do that thing, we code them as evil. We don't like that person. And one thing could be a terrible character, a Daemon who is impassioned. He drinks too much, sexualized, a bit brutal, but then maybe they take care of a family member. They feel protective of a family member who may be suffering from an illness or a neurodivergent younger member of the family that they look after and protect, something like that. And that could very much endear the player characters to go, oh, I thought he was an asshole, which he is, but okay, I see where he's going. I see what he's doing. He's protecting his family, and that kind of thing. It's the brutalistic orc that loves the children, right? And it's like, oh, he's kind of cool. Okay, I get it, right? That would be pretty interesting for like the goblinoid hordes are taking care of orphan children in the woods because the kids in the goodly realm keep getting dumped out in the woods and left there to die, and the orcs and stuff are like protecting them, and you go, wait a minute, they're being nice, right? Yeah. yeah, Drew. I read the comment. Yeah, said, let's face it could be worse. Oh shit. I mean, look at Tech Knight. As long as the Targaryens have not such proclivities, everything is fine. If you guys are not watching The Boys, you have got to watch The Boys. And yes, Tech Knight is yeah. Oh man, what happens in a dungeon stays in the dungeon, right? Yeah. Pretty hilarious. Oh man. Yeah. Daemon Targaryen's had a number of wives. Daemon Targaryen has had a number of mistresses. I was about to say misters and mistresses, which for a main character would be pretty interesting as well. I'm sure having a bunch of misters and mistresses would fit into this character type as well. Definitely. Martin's books have that first D&D chaos. The hat comes alive and kills you. Make another character. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you put the necklace around your neck. Necklace of strangulation. You're dead. What? You listen to the door. And an earwig or whatever it is climbs out of the keyhole and goes into your head. Your character's dead. What? You poke the dead body? Oh, rock rubs. Latch onto your skin and dig to your heart. You're dead. Yeah. Yeah, definitely that kind of stuff. Drew says, regarding random BS, that is why I actually liked the Destiny of Rokugan in Legend of the Five Rings. Was so often determined by card tournaments and the weird picks the winners have taken. For those who don't know, Rokugan is the fictional setting of Legend of the Five Rings, which is a medieval Japanese era samurai role-playing game. Very fictionalized, essentially ancient. It incorporates various eras of ancient Japanese lore, puts them all together, stacks on top of it mysticism, and you play samurai, or primarily play samurai in this world. And L5R has a meta, a living world, and during tournaments of the card game, the winner, what happened during the tournament, players would make cards like Magic the Gathering, and then they would write that story out and incorporate it into the fantasy setting of Rokugan based on the winners of the tournament. And the cards themselves, of course, are based around Rokugan. So specific individuals would survive and die. different clans would rise and fall based on the randomization of the cards being used, and pretty cool. Yeah, I forgot about the living world of Rokugan and how they would incorporate that in L5R. Thank you for bringing that up. Now, mind you, I don't have my L5R books, but I played it often, and it's a great game. For those who don't know, honor, duty, justice, honesty, those kind of things are just as important as like combat, sword skills, body armor, all that kind of the classic martial things in role-playing game. So let's turn Daemon into an adversary, and then we're going to turn him into a bad guy. We're going to ally, definitely a chaos ally, a character who can come and go as he pleases, doesn't follow the rules. I think that would very much make this character friendly to the player characters. Again, you don't need to make this character. You don't even need to make this character a noble character, but a Daemon Targaryen style character definitely would be at the top of his game. Fits very well into a not just a martial category, but very much fits into a fae category, mysticism category, because he has tendencies from all of those. And I would even say that because of his nature and his look and how the character is described and portrayed in the show, that spreading rumors that this character has the blood of something else, that they are fae adjacent, that they are blood of fiends, demons, or devil, that there's rumors that he was born from 3 witches, or little rumors like that, I think very much fit into the category of this character and the background. Also, a lot of rumors would be spreading around this character for the player characters to find out who this Daemon individual is before they even meet this person. So warriors getting together and talking about how great the battle was, and of course this person shows up on the battlefield like an Achilles or something, almost as if a shining light cast upon this character, who this character shows great prowess in tournaments, shows in battle, even in the courts of nobility, that there's something about this person that just has a lot of charisma, and the player characters may find out more through rumor and detail than anything else. As an adversary, and I'm making a difference between adversary and enemy. As an adversary, it's usually a character that is on the side of the player characters, but complicates the lives of the player characters. And that could be one easy way to make this character an adversary is, well, maybe this character is given more grace, more honor, more stories, heck, more gold than the player characters themselves. So if there's a great battle and the player characters like really beat ass, and then when they come back to town, this character is being, hailed above the player characters, that would get under their skin, even if this character fought on the same side. There maybe the player characters want a resource, and this Daemon character has access to the resource, and it prevents the player characters getting that resource. And that resource could be, hey, we want to go to the library and look up some ancient texts. And the librarians are like, well, we closed the doors because Daemon's inside. Maybe they have to go to a banquet or a feast. And when they get to the banquet or feast, they go, well, Daemon arrived and said, no more people should be here. And we kind of follow his lead, so we're going to have to tell you guys to leave. Or something like that, like where Daemon kind of complicates the player characters' lives in their access. Mind you, that may turn this from an adversary to an enemy, but Daemon complicating their lives. Also, because he has so many passions, this is one of those situations where, yay, the character's on our side, and then he does something impassioned that reflects badly on the player characters, even though he's a good person. So an example would be throwing a party at an inn and says, "Hey, drinks on everybody because of them," and points at the player characters, or Daemon makes promises about, "We will give you all the gold after the dragon is slain," and points at the player characters "And I guarantee they will give it to you," something like that. "Oh, I promise we will get back the criminal that, assassinated the queen's brother," or something like that. And they promise they will do it, and Damon's, handing out promises and speeches and things on behalf of the player characters. And the player characters whoa, 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 whoa. You don't speak for us there, dude. And he's like, "No, but we're friends, right?" Definitely a smiley faced, "Hey, you're on my side" kind of thing. Now, mind you, players may do something as well, because this character has a lot of passions. A very small slight, and this character maybe gets upset about it and pouts, adding in childlike traits to the character. A character that pouts, turns their back, stomps away, throws. I don't think they ever showed it, and there's a little bit of a joke in House of the Dragon, where he even makes a comment about food and drink, and kind of turns his nose up at it, and he's like, "Many a dragon rider has been felled by someone poisoning their food," and he kind of looks down at it and such. Mind you, paranoia. Also, probably something he would do. Like I said, he's a rule breaker. So, honorable combat and all that kind of stuff, not really his thing. And so when he's on your side, everyone's like, "Oh, fist in the air, yeah, he's a great guy." When you take a look at his behavior, spoiler alert, he's into some, this is complete sarcasm, he's into some mild domestic violence. He ignores the rules of warfare. There's literally a reason for waving the white flag, and that means surrender. And he uses that to his advantage by, of course, not honoring the white flag of surrender. What else? There's a number of things that he does. Of course, he lies and steals. And again, as an adversary, on the player side, cool. But if he steals something and gives it to the player characters and goes, "Hey, I got this little gift for you, I'll see you later," and the players are looking down like, "Is that a severed hand with a, I don't know, bejeweled ring on the finger or something?" And and then of course the authorities come around and go, "There are the thieves." I think that would be pretty hilarious. And like I said, this Daemon Targaryen style character may think of himself as being on the player character's side, but complicates their lives. If your group is a little bit deeper, you can also incorporate many foibles in terms of romance and relationships. Maybe this Daemon Targaryen style character has a desire to want to be with romantically or otherwise, or even a bromance with one or more of the player characters, and is just a little bit annoying, but the character has both arcane power and social power that you can't exactly ignore the advances, or it looks bad if you ignore the advances, or the character is very Fae-like, so gets emotional if these minor advances are ignored, and they are not equally. You're not equally yoked in the relationship. I very, very much I think the attitude of a Medusa also fits into it as well. Dragon riders probably eat birds and bugs, not on purpose. You know what? That's pretty hilarious, because there's a pretty major dragon fight. By the way, side note, for a television series, there's one of the most epic dragon fights ever to be aired on television and or movies ever, 4th episode, 2nd season, epic. You have to see it. It is extremely well directed. It is, it has with it emotional stakes. We understand the characters and their backgrounds, and we know that each of the characters in the dragon fight as dragon riders, and pretty much how insignificant a dragon rider really is in a dragon fight is it's pretty epic. It's very epic. So now Daemon as a bad guy, as an enemy, is also great. Daemon as a there's 14 people here. Wow, I really appreciate that. We're in the double digits. Shout out to all of you who saw the thumbnail and decided to take part. This is a tabletop role-playing channel, so we're not necessarily going to the history of Westeros or anything like that, but we're here to translate some of those concepts, and I like that. So yeah, just getting sucked into their mouth as they fly along, like the way whales eat plankton. Hell yeah. Listen, when you see that dragon fight and you see them flying on the dragons, you're like, I think you need goggles, and definitely need to put a scarf over your face, because damn it all to hell, they would definitely be eating some birds and stuff while flying so fast. Doesn't look like it, but it will be. Now, as a bad guy, as an enemy, Daemon makes a great second son. And what I mean by that is you might have describe your primary big bad evil guy. BBEG, describe that individual, that creature, that power, or what have you. And Daemon makes a great second son. And what I mean by that is, imagine yourself fantasy realm, right? You've got a vampire lord, you've got an evil lich, you've got a demon or devils or an alchemist or elementalist or whatever. And then you add in a family member, the second sibling. Doesn't need male, female, other, doesn't matter. But this person isn't a bodyguard, isn't their right hand man. This individual is related to them, and there's no chains on this individual. So maybe there's a powerful lich, and the powerful lich has maybe a servant or a sister or what have you, who has just as much power, but they are not beholden to represent a vast kingdom. This person is able to dip and move and travel, especially if they have the ability to travel wherever they want, and they can beseech great kingdoms and cross borders and travel the known realm that you have on your fantasy map without limitation. And that this kind of enemy throws all kinds of chaos into the player's machinations. This character absolutely positively should have some great mobility, teleportation, misty step, traveling through the plains, being able to contact people astrally, projecting their image, being annoyingly present in the player character's circle without needing to be there permanently and get murder killed the minute they arrive, right? It's pretty annoying if a letter arrives first by the Viscount who reads it, and then the player characters show up, and the Viscount looks at the player characters and says something like, I'm going to use Daemon's as name for this example, and like, I was given this letter from Daemon, and said you would come to me and request my army. Why should I give it to you? And the PCs are like, well, because the goblin hordes are going to overtake your realm. And it's like, it says you would say that in this letter, right? I don't believe you. And the PCs are like, damn it, this Daemon person. I could see this character carousing somewhere and leaving behind damages that the player characters may need to fix, obstacles that the player characters need to navigate through. There may be great powers that the players can. Could you imagine a player character that's a warlock who has a warlock patron, and the warlock patron is like, yeah, but I'm giving my favor to someone else, and that someone else is this Daemon-like character in the storyline, and the warlock is wait, what? Yeah, I thought you were my best, but no. Oh, the emojis didn't show up. Sorry about that. And King says, so how many of us have upvoted this video? Show of hands. Yeah. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Now, lastly, well, they were like, a bunch of people showed up and they left. Oh, that's too bad. So, I think another aspect of this character being a bad guy is having. How many times have we seen? Okay, the movie Dune. How many times have we seen the Harkonnen or the Harkonnen portrayed? And of course, we have the wow, I can't remember his name. Not Feyd-Rautha, the other sadistic one, where we have the person who's just ruled by their emotions. And mind you, this Daemon character as a bad guy might get murder killed early on, no big deal, but a character ruled by their emotions makes mistakes, and those mistakes may draw the player characters into the machinations of the big bad evil guy. So this character may spend a lot of gold, may offend nobility, may travel from place to place, again, leaving behind lots of evidence of their comings and goings, both literally and interpersonally, sexually, or what have you. This character may owe lots of debts. This character may people definitely talk about Daemon behind his back all the time. And again, the player characters may garner lots of very easy to gather information about someone or something that they may fight, especially if they go, for example, the player characters crest the proverbial other side of the mountain range and they get there, and the only thing the travelers are talking about is the elemental prince, and his moods are just as fluctuate just as much as the four elements. I tell you this, and someone says, yes, his anger is just as fiery as his fist is like hard as stone or something like that. And the policies are like, oh, he's got elemental power, or is surrounded by four elementals that were summoned that he very easily has control of, that follow his every whim or whatever, right? And that may be a clue as to who they're combating, why they're combating that person. And mind you, the Daemon person doesn't need to be an expert at all things, but maybe just very good at a large number of things. Very charismatic, can dance and sing, can kind of navigate the nobility, but also a little bit streetwise too, and able to throw on his dark murder cloak and go into the streets and hide there as well. That sort of thing. And parallel the player character's actions, or the opposite, keeps laying breadcrumbs that the player characters follow along. Oh, he has a navy. All right, we're going to sail to the archipelago. Oh, also has a loyal set of explorers like rangers that travel through the deep jungles. Okay, let's follow the path through the jungle. Oh, he's also friends with or members of or studied at a ancient group of hermits that live up in the mountains. I guess we're going to go up there as well. And this character may, as the player characters move along, they may go, wow, this character's got a little bit of everything. Boy, they've got like a ghosts of ancestors following them, and elemental power, and learn from psychic monks or something, and is a shape changer. Whatever, you could make up all kinds of other things about that. Lastly, I would say as a bad guy, as an enemy, if you wanted to make this Daemon character higher level as an enemy, it could be maybe a great MacGuffin, power, a font of energy, a mystic artifact, the a portal or whatever, and the Daemon character could literally be in a conflict with other family or friends or allies of its own, and the players may need to decide which is the lesser of two evils. Like, for example, Daemon's firstborn lich-like wizard who is immortal. No one may like the Lich King, but better the Lich King than the fiendish prince. You know, the Lich King you can talk to and make treaties with, and is patient and doesn't fly off the handle and doesn't randomly murder kill people. But the fiendish prince might be flying off the handle all the time and say the wrong thing, and he tends to burn people's villages and that kind of thing. And so maybe this Daemon character needs to be stopped first, is lower level, right? Lower CR or what have you, until moving up to the Lich King, who's like, now I'm pissed. Now I'm going to send my enemies after you, because despite the fact that I had conflict with my own blood, or someone that studied at the same wizard school that I did, and despite the fact that we didn't agree with each other, at least we were on the same page, a la Professor X, Professor Xavier, and Magneto, right? They're always in conflict, but those two always bonded together against a greater enemy of mutant hate in the comic books. And the same could be said for here, this Daemon character, who the player characters go, well, this Daemon character is too chaotic. We need to stop this person. And instead, what may happen is the Daemon character's allies and family may come together and become an even greater threat if they eliminate this character, of course, creating and causing even more drama and, of course, more adventures in the game. So, damn it, I keep talking around some of the great events that happened in House of the Dragon, but really cool. So, guys, thank you very much for just being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Yeah, Detroit representing that city up north. Yeah, I'm in the Ohio Valley, and Michigan is up north, and it's the greatest college sports rivalry in history. I'm not exactly sure how many years. I'm not going to look it up, but it's great. So thank you very much, of course, for allowing me to talk about this. I hope you are inspired. This channel is dedicated to tabletop role-playing games, and the inspiration here. It says nice background music this time. Is that new, or just I've not been noticing? It is new. It is what is the music? Let me see. The music is known as it's a cinematic background. Now let me know if it's a little bit too loud for you guys, but other than that, yeah, little music there. Drew says, speaking of Xavier and Magneto, I have to say I really liked Andre and Kate as subversion of these two characters in Gen V. Yes, Gen V, great. You know what? We can. I don't know how many people watch The Boys or even Gen V, but yeah, that would be great to do. Maybe we might pull upon that. Lastly, just before we get out of here, I do want to say something that you guys know I always find some new shadows over soul. You guys know I always find something new or different. This time something found me, and the tabletop role-playing hobby. Something will be coming new to you guys that I will, let's see, tab creations. I'll put this image up. No, this is a better image. Okay. I'm always bringing something new, finding something new or interesting. And this is from Tab Creations. I will be doing a series. I'll actually probably do a week of this. And there's a reason why once I describe this to you. This is a science fiction role-playing game. A number of science fiction role-playing games exist, far too many to literally go into. definitely hard science fiction, a la The Expanse, Eclipse Phase, Altered Carbon, hard science fiction, post-human, and it uses primarily a deck of cards as its randomization and adjudication in terms of actions. And because it is a science fiction horror, it literally says on the cover of the main book, science fiction horror role-playing, that the card-based nature of the adjudication of action lends itself to gambling, whether you have the right hand to make you fail or succeed. It's pretty interesting. It's not necessarily a parallel of playing like poker or something like that, or blackjack, but it does have that. It does have that element to it, and it's pretty interesting. I have many of the books digitally. I've got 2 of the physical copies, and I'm very impressed about its design and background. It unfortunately also, like you see my T-shirt here, Obsidian Star, it also runs very, very parallel to what I came up with, which is both joyous and annoying. So there is a little bit of that. So anyway, let me go back to let's go back to Daemon. Say goodbye, Daemon. Daemon Targaryen, using this character as fuel for creating some allies, adversaries, enemies in our tabletop role-playing game. A character that very much embodies chaos and passions and desires, and a person that likes to break the rules. Not always, strangely enough, not always successful as well. The character isn't necessarily purports himself to be someone that's unattached to anything, but clearly in our second season of House of the Dragon is in great turmoil about both his desires for power and moving up in society and status, as well as rubbing up against his loyalty to family and tradition and the blood of the dragon, and is a great supporter of it, and a great character nonetheless. Again, much like Magneto and Professor X, is Daemon very much a Magneto style character? Yes. Great evils, a very charismatic, loyal to loyal and considers another individual to be a blood brother. Magneto and Professor X are very much family, blood or not. They are committed to each other in that way, even closer than sometimes blood. And I could see a Daemon style character being that way, even so much as being an evil character, but being loyal to the player characters. I think also adds in another great story element where it's strange to say this, but we have a lot of classic monsters in fantasy, whether like ogres, trolls, naga, you name it, they're out there, sentient monsters and things. But imagine one or more that are loyal to and feel kinship with the player characters, but they're still going around doing things the player characters don't agree with. And this character could show up. This character could show up and help the player characters out. Thank you, Shaisa says, it's nice to take a break for a while, but it'll be fun to get back to Obsidian. Yeah, me too. Yeah. Mind you, this game, Shadows over Soul, punched me in the gut a bit because there are so many bits and pieces. The game came out between 2009 and 2015. The second generation, the second edition of the game is going to be released soon, and I've got the first edition, and it's very good. It's very good. Almost too good, I dare say. I'm a little mad. My feelings are hurt, so I got to share it with everyone else. And you get sucked into space when you shoot a hole in the spaceship, Paul. I can't wait to show that off. Explosive decompression isn't exactly what we think it is, but there should never be guns on spaceships. I understand that. I believe even to this day, I believe the Russians have sent astronauts up into space with a firearm. But yeah. Happy Monday. Hope your week is off to a good start. And now let me shamelessly spam you with my latest music video. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let's see if I can actually pull it. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, damn it. It won't let me copy paste it. Are you serious? Okay. Let's see, since you gave me permission. Here we go. Let's see. Since you gave me permission, I'm gonna go find it. I'm gonna go grab it. Here, hold on. There we go. Please don't cause any problems. Let's see. Please don't cause any problems. I'm calling up my own. I'm trying to call up my own video to see if I can open link in new tab. There we go. Here we go. All right.
Everything you think you know is just a lie they made up.
All right. Now, despite the fact that you gave me permission, I'm going to end up. I'm mute it out because I'm pretty sure they might get harsh on me. But look at that, yeah. So, guys, for those who do not know, let me go get this. Let me go get the link here. Copy it. Yeah. If they can't get it. Oh, there we go. Yes. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. This. Why the hell not, man? Why the hell not? You listen. We're here. You know me. Shrooms. Sweet. Yeah, not a problem. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. As a matter of fact, it actually ties in the chaos of which is happening here. And by the way, for those who do not know, Shy Squad is a music group of which the sounds that you heard when I first started this video are from someone who's already in the chat. Please go over there. Well, okay, I hear you saying that, but YouTube has an algorithm. That's why I mentioned it. YouTube does can have a very harsh algorithm that can punish those. So it may like shut a thing down and then later unshut it down, if that makes sense. I've gotten, you don't know, but behind the scenes, I've gotten tagged for sharing copywritten material, and then they've untagged me because they realized that I'm actually, I'm not just sharing it, but I'm transforming it. I'm making comments about it. So that's what I mean by that. So yeah, it's not a person that's going to stop it. It's a YouTube algorithm that may stop it. But the visual noise and chaos of what I'm seeing without the music accompanying it is very reminiscent of the mind of the character that we were talking about. So yeah, Shai says, yeah, they do have an algorithm, but your music has to be officially protected for the algorithm to go after you. Are you sure? I've heard of YouTube channels getting dinged for literally sharing their own stuff. But okay, all right. We will go out. We are going to go out with a little bit of music, and we will go out with music here, and then
this was just a game.
For allowing me to share.
Inside your mind, always told you just the same.
Yeah, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Also, for spending your valuable time here on. All right, guys. Everybody have a great day. Thank you so much for being part of this show. Thank you for taking us out. Thank you so much.